Dramatis personae, Shivagami, a very young woman. She is extremely intelligent and is a trained warrior. She is the daughter of a nobleman of Mahishmati kingdom, Devaraya, who was executed as a traitor by the king. The wounds of her childhood have scarred her. Katapa, a 21-year-old slave, he is dedicated to his work and takes pride in serving the royal family of Mahishmati. Katapa is deeply honored to have been chosen to serve Vijaladeva, the elder prince of Mahishmati. He is the son of Malepa, the personal slave of Maharaja Somadeva. Pattaraya, a rich and ambitious nobleman. He is a Bhumipati, a title of great importance in the Mahishmati kingdom. He is known for his cunning and ruthlessness. He is a self made man who rose from poverty to riches through his intelligence and hard work. He is dedicated to his family and loves his daughter Meghala more than his life. Shivappa, the 18-year-old younger brother of Kattappa, he resents being born a slave and dreams of freedom. He loves his elder brother but is often at loggerheads with him. He wants to build a new world and dreams of joining the Vaitalikas, the rebel tribe that is fighting against Mahishmati from the forest. He is deeply in love with Kamakshi, a friend of Shivagami, Prince Vijaladeva. The firstborn of Maharaja Somadeva, he is anxiously awaiting the day he will be declared crown prince. He demands respect and is slighted at the slightest show of irreverence by anyone. He is surrounded by a coterie of sycophants who back him for their own selfish reasons. He is contemptuous of his younger brother and resents his popularity with the masses. Prince Mahadeva, a dreamer and an idealist, he treats everyone with compassion and love. He is conscious that he is not a great warrior. He looks up to his father and respects him, but wilts under his domineering mother. He loves his elder brother but is afraid of him. He is a poet and romantic. Jimoda, he considers himself a great trader but actually is a pirate. He is an expert sailor and sails often at the precipice of illegality. He is aware of his charm and the effect it has on any woman. He often uses his wit to get away from tricky situations but does not resist from violence if the situation demands it. Keiki, a 30-year-old eunuch, she is the assistant of the famous Devadasi Kalika. Keiki is a pimp who finds beautiful women for Kalika's trade. She has a sharp tongue and uses it like a whip. For now, she is a Bhumipadi Patarya's camp. Skandadasa, the deputy prime minister or Ubhadradasa of Mahishmati. Skandadasa is a man of principles, honest to the core. He carries deep insecurities within for his lowly origins. He belongs to an untouchable caste and is a misfit among the other high caste nobles of the court. The common people admire him, but the corrupt officials and nobles dislike him. Timma, the foster father of Shivagami, he used to be a close friend of Devaraya, a powerful Bhumipati. He is a kind of soft spoken and a doting father to his children. Ali, brought up by the elusive rebel queen Achi Nagamma, she is an elite warrior and spy in all women rebel army. She is not shy of using her sexuality and powers of seduction to get her work done. Kamakshi, an innocent and lovely girl of 17th, she is Shivagami's closest friend in the orphanage. Her only ambition in life is to live in peace with her lover Shivappa, far away from the cruel city of Mahishmati. Gunduramu, Shivagami's young friend in the orphanage, son of slain poet. The plump boy adores Shivagami, whom he calls Akka. She is witty and also a bit of a glutton. Hidumba, the little man of Mahishmati, is quite dangerous. He is a Khanipati, a step below a Fumipati, and he thinks he has been denied his promotion only because of his size. He is now in the Pataraya camp. But even Pataraya is wary of this dwarf. Devadasi Kaliga, she is the head of Ushachakra Inn, more notoriously known as Kaliga's Den. She is a seductress and has half of Mahishmati nobles under her feet. She is adept in the art of Kama and supplies beautiful young ladies to even harem of Maharaja to entertain state guests. Maharaja Somadeva, the king of Mahishmati, he is a distant figure respected, admired, and feared by his subjects. Malayappa, the personal slave of Maharaja Somadeva, he is Kattappa and Shivapa's father. He is proud man with a strong sense of duty. Mahapradhana Parameshwara, the 75-year-old Prime Minister of Mahishmati, he is trusted by the king who considered him his guru. He is kind-hearted but a Sive politician. He is also a Skandadasa's mentor. Dubhaga, the trusted aide of Mahapradhana Parameshwara. Maharani Hemavati, the haughty and proud queen of Mahishmati. Rajaguru Rudrabhatta, the chief priest of Mahishmati. He is a close friend of Bhumivati Pattaraya. Dandanayaga Pradaba, the police chief of Mahishmati. Pradaba is feared by the common people. He is a friend of Pattaraya. Vaidaligas, the rebel tribe who want to wrench Gauri Parvat back from the clutches of Mahishmati. Bhuttaraya, the enigmatic and powerful leader of the Vaidaligas. Guha, the Bhumipadi of river people, an old man cruel and cunning. He is revered by his people. He bows only for Maharaja Somadeva. Akunta, a powerful Bhumipadi. Achi Nagamma, the leader of an all-woman vigilant army. She is fighting against the corrupt and evil people of Mahishmati. Ali is a member of her army. Devaraya, Shivagami's father, who was executed as a traitor by the government. Raghava, Timma's son, who grew up with Shivagami. He is madly in love with her. Akila, Timma's 5-year-old daughter. She is Shivagami's favorite. Meghala, Bhumipati Pattaraya's daughter, who often does not agree with her father. Brihannala, a Enruch who is the head of the royal harem. She has her own secrets. Nala, a merchant and adopted brother of Brihannala. He often doubles up as Brihannala's messenger. Najunda, a divine man, a crook, a drunkard. He is willing to do magic for a bottle of attack. He is an assistant of Jimuta. Bhairava, a lunatic who lives near the river. He used to be Maharaja Somadeva's slave. Devamma, the warden of royal orphanage. Nagaya, an elite slave who escapes with a terrible state secret. Tantaga, a head boy of the royal orphanage who hates Shivagami. Utanga, a boy in the orphanage. Chapter 1, Shivagami. The night was dark like death. It suited her. She did not want anyone to see them. A tiny lamp hung from the chariot, swaying wildly with each lance that the cart made. She would have preferred to have it snuffed out, but the path was perilous. From either side, the jungle was reclaiming what originally belonged to it. Overhanging branches grazed her face as they sped through the winding hill path. She felt heavy with emotion. 1,000 memories rushed from the dark recesses of her mind. They had broken free from where she had carefully buried them over the last 12 years and were howling in her ears. Like ghosts let free, she had never wanted to return to the place they were going to know, not after what had happened to her family. Every tree that loomed in front of them reminded her of that gruesome scene she had been forced to witness at the tender age of 5. Suddenly, the chariot stopped, making her lose her balance and hit her head on the side. A hair, Raghava said from the cartman's seat. She could make out 2 eyes shining up at them from the ground and then trembling silhouette of a hare. Their horse sniffed and the hare leaped and vanished into the bushes. It was typical of Raghava to be concerned about the life of even a small animal. "Do you really want to go there at this hour?" he asked. Not for the first time that night. She did not reply. He nudged the horse with the end of the whip and the cart resumed its journey. Soon the thick jungle on either side gave way to patches of thorny bushes. Amidst them, huge boulders jutted out. They looked like crouching beasts waiting for their prey. Raghava hesitated at the beginning of the steep path that traced its sinuous way up to a fort looming in the distance. "Can we go back?" Raghava asked. She clucked her tongue in impatience. She could see him shake his head before prodding the horse to move. There used to be a garden here, she thought as a cart passed through a pitch of land that sloped gently down the hill. It was overgrown with weeds. From here, it was going to be tough. The path clung perilously close to the edge of the cliff as they made their way up. The wheels of the cart caused a few pebbles to come loose, and they bounced down momentarily. The sound of flowing water became clearer as they continued to climb up. The path ended abruptly at the edge of a precipice. Raghava pulled the reins and gripped down. He unhooked the lamp and came around to help her alight. But she ignored his extended hand and jumped to the ground. She moved to the edge and looked down. She could feel the frothing mountain stream many hundreds of feet below. There used to be a hanging bridge here, she remembered, and as her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she could see it a few score feet to her left. It looks ominous, Erin, Raghava said, but she walked past him. Climbing the crumbling steps to the bridge, she gripped the rope on either side and left the wooden boat with her toe. Are we going to cross the bridge? Raghava's voice had an edge of fear. The ropes vanished into darkness after a few feet into the abyss. She took the lantern from Raghava's hands and stepped onto the bridge. A plank crumbled under her feet and spiraled down. Raghava gasped in fear despite the cold. Her hands were sweaty. She would not have made this trip. Not she met old Lakshmi, who had been her maid after 12 years. The faithful servant was on her deathbed when she visited her. Among other things, Lakshmi had mentioned a book that her father owned, a book that her father had told the maid to hand over to his child, a manuscript written in some strange tongue which could perhaps solve the mystery of what killed him. Her father, Devaraya, a Bhumipadi, noble lord in the kingdom of Mahishmati, he was loved and respected until he was subjected to Chitravada. No, she did not want to think about that. Not now, not when she was crossing a bridge that swayed and creaked with each step. Watch out, Raghava cried from behind. A yawning gap of 7 feet lay in front of her. She handed the lamp to Raghava and took a few steps back. You are crazy, she learned him as say as she ran and gracefully leaped over the gap. She landed safely on the other side, though the bridge swayed wildly. She looked back and laughed. Throw the lamp to me and jump, you coward. Raghava looked down into the abyss. She clucked her tongue in impatience. Raghava mumbled a prayer to Amma Gaudi and threw the lamp to her. It sung in the air, tracing an arc, and she caught it before it hit the ground. The flame went off, leaving the smell of burning wick in the air. Oh God, she heard Raghava say. Except for the faint light from the stars, it was pitch dark. I can't see my own fingers. How will I jump? If you can't see anything, you will be less scared. It's just 7 feet. It is more like 700 feet all the way down. There are rocks down there. Jump, you fool, she